Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be another fragrance first impression like it is just about every Friday, and today's fragrance that I'm going to be sampling is from the different company and it's the fragrance Tokyo Bloom. So if you'd like to know my first impressions on Tokyo Bloom and also what I thought about last week's fragrance, which was Savoy Steam from Penhaligons, then keep watching. As always, with every single one of my first impressions videos, I always kind of give you the rundown of how these videos work. It's really the only kind of structured video I have. I have a sample that I have never put on my skin. Sometimes I might have tested it on a strip or smelled it on somebody else, but it's never touched my skin. I apply it, I let it kind of like sit on my skin for 15 seconds, I give you my first impressions, and then I come back after about 15 to 20 minutes and let you know what I think of the dry down. Then I will wear it throughout the week, and next week's fragrance first impressions video I will give you kind of like a mini review of what I thought about wearing it throughout the week, which is why at the end of this video you will know my final thoughts on last week's fragrance, which was the Eau de Parfum version of Savoy Steam from Penhaligon. So let's get started. I purchased this scent from, this sample from Lucky Scent, and it's Tokyo Bloom. And it was released in 2012, and it is a unisex fragrance. I'm looking at all the information over here. 100 ml bottle of this is $125, and the notes are basil, dandelion, blackcurrant, jasmine, Gaiac wood, musk, and amber, and a few other little things mixed in there. So I'm going to sample this. Now you guys know I don't really like these way. One thing I don't like about Lucky Scent is that you don't get atomizers. This isn't the best way to sample, but it is a little bit better. I just kind of put as much as I possibly can on my wrists, and then I will let it dry down and let you guys know what I think. So let me do this. While this kind of like settles on my skin, let me read you the little bit about this on the Lucky Scent. Again, this video is not sponsored. I just like to use Lucky Scent base notes, Fragrantica, and other websites for notes and information, and so whichever website I'm using at the time is the one that I will source, so that's obviously this one. It's supposed to be a wistful and delicate scent with a sensuous undercurrent and a poetic tribute to the fleeting beauty of the floating world captured in Japanese woodcuts. Emily Copperman's, I believe she's the nose, yes, a tribute to Japan's 5th season conjures the tenderness of spring rain on a spring blooming garden, which is why I wanted to do this one, because it is a spring scent and we are still in spring. The raspy fruitiness of blackcurrant bud, the slightly Unisex, I think I'll pronounce it right, I'm sorry, basil, and an unusual milky dandelion sap accord shower. Different splashes of green in the top notes. The heart yields another type of moistness with Cyclamen, star jasmine, which is spicier than real jasmine, as a sensuous flush to the delicate blend carried by a gentle cloud of musk. So yeah, it's pretty involved. I like seeing what people describe fragrances as. It kind of reminds me of Iron Chef, the Japanese version. Whenever the judges are explaining the food, it always kind of like takes you to another level. And I love that, and so I love reading what people kind of like interpret fragrances or how the perfume or what journey they want the fragrance to take you on. So this is really interesting because I actually collect Japanese woodcuts too. That's another reason why I was kind of interested in this. Okay, it's been about a minute, so I think it's settled on my skin right now. As you guys know, I'm more hypercritical in my reviews than I am in real life, so if I'm good or bad on these fragrances, usually next week I'll let you know my final thoughts, but when it comes down to the reviews today, I'm usually a little bit more hypercritical, so just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that because I've smelled this, I'm just saying that because it's how I am. So this already I can tell you is going to be a very intimate fragrance, and what I mean by intimate is that it sits ridiculously close to the skin. Now, I don't know if you can hear, I have a fan blowing on like full speed because last night I dropped like 3 or 4 samples that I was going to be doing a review for you guys, and I had to clean up the floor, and I was trying to get all of the aroma out of this room. So what I'm going to do is, just from now, it's smelling very intimate. I'm actually going to let you guys know more about how I think it's going to wear when I come back in 20 minutes because I won't be in this room. But initial impression, I have to be really close to my skin to smell it. Now I'm getting jasmine and I'm definitely getting blackcurrant, but I'm really not getting much else. I think that the basil and the Gaiac wood is probably going to come down on, it's going to come out more in the dry down. So I'm going to like leave this here that it smells very refreshing in the opening. It smells somewhat aquatic, very fresh and slightly sweet, but I'm gonna come back and I will let you know. I'm probably gonna give this about a half an hour to warm up on my skin. Usually more intimate scents or lighter scents need more time to completely kind of like open up and bloom on my skin, so I'm gonna give it enough time to do that. If I feel like it's opening up more sooner, I will come out sooner, but I'm gonna give it about half an hour. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes. I think I can let you guys know what I think right now, because I think it's had enough time to develop on my skin. It's kind of like if you ever like made a sauce or you've ever made a like a dressing and the recipe says like put it in the fridge for half an hour, and you're like, why do you do that? What it does is it lets all the flavors marry together and it kind of adds more depth, complexity, and makes it more delicious than if you were to just initially just put it on your salad or use it as a sauce right away. Sometimes flavors and notes need to just kind of come together, and I found with very not one note fragrances, but fragrances that don't have a lot of complexity and depth, to really get the most beauty out of it, you kind of need to let everything kind of sit and marry together with your skin, and that's what I got from this fragrance. Now, away from the crazy air conditioner, this still seems to be a very intimate fragrance, meaning that I don't really get nose blinds to things, but I can barely smell it from here. I have to go like this. Which sometimes, if you guys like intimate, close-sitting fragrances, is great. Fragrances like this are awesome for the office or awesome for the classroom because you'll smell fresh and pretty, but you're not going to radiate a scent cloud that might aggravate other people if they don't like fragrances, which is usually when I say if a fragrance is work appropriate, it's usually not price or anything. It has to do with how much it projects. So this is a very intimate fragrance. It's very sweet and it is very one note, at least from what I've gotten so far. A little bit more of the amber and the Gaiac wood has come out, and a little bit of the musk, but I am getting more of a basil, jasmine, blackcurrant from this. It is very lush and green and sweet, and it kind of, if I was to describe this kind of more of a whimsical way, it kind of smells like you're sitting on top of a field and there's just a slight breeze coming at you and you can just smell the foliage and the flowers and the sweetness around you on a very light spring day. It just, that's kind of like what it's reminiscent of. I love the basil in this and the Gaiac wood. I think if the basil and the wood wasn't in this, this would be such like a cheap scent, like don't even bother. But the basil and the wood in this are kind of giving this kind of like, and the jasmine too, the star jasmine, this little twinge of spice and woodiness to it that I think is really making this stand apart from other fragrances like this. Now, I'm weird when it comes to one-note fragrances. Generally, I like them. You know, they're more of a grab-and-go everyday scent, and that's what this scent is kind of singing to me. This would be a grab-and-go everyday spring scent for you guys. Very safe, very clean, very sweet. And I don't think for 100 mils, $125 is asking too much. I think this is really poor on the sillage, but if you like intimate fragrances, that's awesome. But I think longevity for this fragrance might be a factor. So again, next week I'm going to wear through this entire sample and I will let you know what I think. So far it seems like a really nice, very pleasant, very sweet, semi-spiced, not spicy, but spice scent that would be perfect for warm weather, offices, classes, outings. It's just very nice, very safe, but still very pretty. So far it's getting positive reviews, but again, I need to wear through it to give you my final review. Okay, so let's talk about last week's fragrance. As you guys know, I loved it. When I wore it, I was like, yes, this is beautiful. Oh my goodness. It was just like love at first sniff practically. Savoy Steam is hammam bouquet. It's like it's supposed to be reminiscent of like a Turkish bath. It's supposed to be kind of like paying homage to their classic hamam think it's Hammam, Hammam, bouquet fragrance, which is like a bath type fragrance. Not like a bath, like you're taking a bath, but like a Turkish bath. So this is like supposed to be kind of reminiscent of like steam and flowers and just be something that's really just refreshing and spa-like. It's supposed to be kind of more like spa-like. At least that's what I've gotten when I was like reading more about it and how I wore it. Now, I tried the Eau de Parfum version. I did not try the Eau de Cologne. It comes in two. So the one that I am reviewing is the Eau de Parfum. So do not take anything that I'm talking about, notes, longevity, or anything about the Eau de Cologne. I'm not talking about the Eau de Cologne, I'm talking about the Eau de Parfum. I am going to be buying a bottle of this, if I haven't already. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who knows at this point. It is stunning. It is so ridiculously perfect for summer where I live. I can't even begin to tell you. Let me just remind you of the notes so that way when I kind of describe it a little bit more, you can understand what I'm talking about. The top notes are rosemary and pink pepper. The heart notes are rose and geranium. And the base notes are incense resinoid. Now this, having incense and rose and pink pepper and rosemary, it sounds like it might be heavier than it is, but it's very light. It is very spa-like. It kind of smells like, have you ever kind of like sprayed a very heavy fragrance like on your coat or on your shirt, and then you like went to take a shower, and then you took a shower and your clothes were in the shower and it was a really hot shower, and like the entire like shower room smells like this really rich indulgent fragrance, but it's kind of lighter. That's kind of like what it sounds like, and I think that's what they were kind of going for, and I think it's perfect. The thing is I love incense fragrances, I love heavy fragrances, I love peppery fragrances and rose fragrances, but in the summer those can be way too heavy, way too heavy, and you can only wear so many freshies before you get kind of bored of it. Like I like wearing something different every day. If you're one of the people that likes to wear a signature scent or wear 2 or 3 scents in your rotation, then that's awesome. I am a glutton and completely greedy when it comes to fragrances. I want to smell something different every day. So I want to smell kind of incensey. I want to smell kind of more, a little bit rugged and a little bit more spiced, but in the summer it's cannot do it because it's so hot and humid, and this is perfect. I get my rose, I get my incense, I get my pepper, I get my spice, not spiced like, you know, like pepper, but like the rosemary adds a really nice kind of refreshing take on this fragrance. Overall, this is absolutely everything I'm looking for in a summer fragrance, and it wears beautifully. I get about 4 hours of wear from this, but considering how it sits on the skin and how light it is, I'm not surprised I only get 4 hours, but that's okay. I'm willing to give it a pass for that. It has decent sillage, it's a nice scent cloud, but it's not too overpowering to where I think if I was sitting next to somebody, if they didn't like fragrances, it would bother them. Overall, this is like an A+, love it for a sniff, perfect fragrance, and I definitely need to add it to my collection so I can wear it this summer. I feel like this first impression is a little bit longer than the other one, so I'm going to end it here, but I'm going to always recap at the end. The first one, Tokyo Bloom from the different company, is very nice, very safe. One note, but in a nice way. All the notes kind of come together to create this really safe, easy to understand, slightly sweet, fresh fragrance. Definitely it's much more intimate than I would hope. And I'm kind of worried about longevity, but we will see this week. And last week's fragrance, Savoy Steam, the Eau de Parfum. Not the Eau de Toilette, not the Eau de Cologne, is the one I'm reviewing. Loved it, buying it, amazing. So yeah, that's my fragrance first impressions for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys like these fragrance first impression videos, there we go, as well as my fragrance videos and my fragrance reviews. If you do, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. Also, don't forget to subscribe because it's free. And I'm free, and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well. So always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy, and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time.